Hey guys, not a lot of new things to report other than had a great bonus practice, then a really good Sunday night practice last night. As we sort of begin our official game week, we try to do that to stay in the same exact routine. Players are off today, and then we'll come back tomorrow and resume practicing, which will be a Tuesday practice schedule for us. First down day, like it typically is on each Tuesday. But got some guys trying to get healed up. I feel like some of those guys are going to make it. Some of the ones we've mentioned before, T.J. Worthy, we expect him to be for the first time full speed. And I think this extra time and holding him out, making sure he was ready for this game, is going to allow him to be 100%, which is a big plus. Troy, though, will not be back. I'm trying to think who else. Lightfoot, we're hoping that Lightfoot is going to be available. We'll know a little closer to time, but he's making a lot of progress. Any other injury? I think that's about the extent of it.
Is that from Reed?
Yeah, from Reed's good to go. Yeah, he's good to go. Just finding him that role right now, get him back into it, and hopefully on special teams he can still contribute to our team, and he'll get some opportunities eventually. Right now Elijah's getting a few more carries, and then Torrey is getting the rest of the bulk of the load, and so eventually he'll probably work himself in some time. But with that being said, open up any questions.
Any word on the left guard?
Yeah, left guard, it's going to be Grant. It's going to be Grant. That was I think I mentioned that to you guys last week. We had two ways we could go. We could leave everybody where they were for the most part and plug in a new guard, or we could try to put Eddie at guard. And although they were very effective at 500 and some odd yards total offense, we still feel like that we can even be way more effective with Eddie at center, because he's a very good center. He can get movement, he's got a great base, and he's got all our calls down. Grant's going to go to left tackle. Diakman played really well. I'm sorry, Grant's going to left guard. Diakman played really well at left tackle. This is a kid who's 6'6" with long arms, who's 300 plus, that can get movement, and he was a really good pass protector the other night. So feel really good about him. He's played a lot this year anyway, so that has not been a transition for him. So moving forward, that's the direction, and I think it's going to be a good one for us.
Is Grant cool with the switch?
Yeah, Grant's a team player, and that's what I was most proud and I talked about to our team. We got a lot of guys who have made moves, whether it's corner to safety, safety to corner, guard to tackle, center to guard, receiver to DB. And another move is we moved Alonzo from receiver to defensive back. Alonzo Cryer. We moved him to defensive back, and not because we need any depth at the time, but we think he can really help us. He's a tall kid that can really run, so we're anxious to be able to get him some playing time in the future, maybe next spring, not this year. But we have moved him to defensive back because we have a lot of numbers at receiver, and we think he can be a talented defensive back. But we've got some unselfish players on this team, and that's what our team is built upon, is doing what's best for our football program.
Grant is able to
safety or corner?
We know Grant's able to pick everything up mentally. He knows what to do at left tackle, left guard, center, and everything. But what makes him capable of doing that physically? So those are three different types of positions.
They are, but when you still come off and you block somebody straight right in front of you on the inside zone, whether you're blocking a 3 technique or a 5 technique or a shade, you still got to pretty much step with the same. You step with the same direction. You still got to drive your feet with your play with a great base, and so some of those things are very similar, and that's something he can do. He's very strong, and boy, he's gotten big, and our line right now, we're big up front, and so he's a kid that can pick it all up mentally, can handle the transition. He understands all the schemes, and so that's made it a lot easier than someone that struggled moving from position to position.
Did Knighton look like usual Knighton to you on Tuesday, or do you see anything different?
No, I thought he looked dynamic as always. That guy can make plays happen. He can extend plays. We watched the game last night, and he's a heck. You see why he's preseason Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year. This kid's a special player. Flies around, can throw the ball, can run the ball, extend plays, and he's always a handful. That's for sure.
When you're looking for a quarterback, you'd stress not to turn the ball over. Is that a good example of what happens when you do that Arkansas-South Al game?
No question. You look, South Alabama's up 11, I believe, in the fourth quarter, going into the fourth at least, and the quarterback maybe has 2 straight turnovers, and you know, they get right back into the game, get the momentum, and momentum's such a big thing. And that's the thing we've, you know, talked to our quarterbacks about, and that's, you saw what happens the very next week when Jalen goes the distance without any balls on the ground, and with the completion percentage he had, and as effective he was with the option of what he can do when you take care of the football.
Gary Haynes probably had his body type. He probably has a rep, you know, came in as he's going to be a speed guy. But in the return game, can he kind of almost finish off returns like a run? Can that be part of his game, kind of being physical and maybe getting a few extra yards here and there on the return?
I don't know if he's always going to be quite that physical as he was on the sideline. I wouldn't look for that to be a normal everyday thing for him. But what he can do is he's got a lot of shape. He's got a lot of make you miss, and he's one of those guys that come along every so often. He's got just dynamic feet. He's one of those guys that's hard to him up in a phone booth. Now, he's quick. Got great acceleration, and he's got incredible ball skills. And so he's only going to get better the more he plays, and so we're going to get him some more playing time.
You guys are a little bit more rested than them. Is that negligible? One fewer game and a couple extra days that you have on them, or is that a wash, basically?
That's probably a wash. It's not like a whole week. It's like 3 extra days. And if you're not careful, sometimes you can be tired from the extra work. And so that's why we've tried to get back on a normal routine. And the way we do things now is compared to year one. Year one is all about, hey, we got more time, that's more work. Let's just grind, and we probably weren't as fresh as we needed to be. Now, you know, we're getting our players. We got a good team, we got good players. We're going to get them to the game healthy, get them prepared, get them ready to play, and get them very eager.
After the performance Gerald Brazil had, and you naming him your starting kicker.
Yeah, he's going to get the first kickoff return, and so will Gary Haynes.
Yeah, have you seen a change in his preparation since his performance and everything?
Now, hadn't had an opportunity because, you know, we hadn't had a whole lot of practice time since, but I think he's really excited. He's been wanting that opportunity, and he's shown that we can trust him. And he's got a change of speed, another gear that a lot of people don't have. You know, he's a track kid who can turn the corner on.
It was a challenge earlier in the year to try to find ways to get Eli the ball in space. You can't just motion him out places. Do you feel like in the last couple of games you guys have found more opportunities for him?
Yeah, that's took some really creative game planning by our staff, and they've done a really good job because he's gotten more touches, and he's gotten the ball in a variety of different ways to allow him to utilize his skills rather than just running between the tackles on the inside zone. So that's always critical for him, is giving him the ball in space and letting him make plays, because he's got that ability to make you miss, and he's also can break tackles. He's a strong runner now. He's very physical, and I think he's demonstrated that in the past.
Coach, on the defensive side of the ball, do you see anything that they're doing differently scheme-wise? It looks like they got a little larger in the middle, interior of that line. A couple of JC guys, transfers. Look a little bit lighter at the linebacker position, maybe more speed there. But as far as the scheme-wise, are they doing anything at all differently?
Yeah, they're different than they were last year. They've got more people at the point of attack. They play a lot more double eagle than what they did last year. And they get to double eagle in some different ways, where they play some head-up guys and end up becoming basically a double eagle front. And so they want to get a lot of guys in the box to try to stop the run, and they've done a nice job at times.
Double eagle being?
Double eagle means when the center, guard, and tackles are all covered.
They have, I think, 13 interceptions. It's tied for the national lead right now. Going into a tight matchup against a team that's showing the ability to make plays like that, what do you tell Jalen?
Just take what the defense gives you. Be smart, take care of the ball, and luckily for us, we don't throw it 45 times a game. So I'm hoping we won't have that many. For us, we want to be able to run the football effectively, and hoping when we're able to run the football, that opens up play action. And but they're a really good defense, and their defensive coordinator, I've known him for quite a while. He does an exceptional job, and got a lot of respect for him.
Where do you think Jalen's improved so far this season?
One, his shoulder's much better. I think that was pretty obvious to see the other night, that he could really zip the ball. He had a lot of zip on his passes, tight spirals, and he really threw some darts. And I just think he's getting more experience of getting up to the line of scrimmage, making the calls, getting us in the right plays, and playing with good tempo, and his confidence level is much higher. But if you said anything, it's probably his arm. It's totally healed, and it showed that he can be very effective in the passing game.
Coach, from what last year, it looks like the skill positions are pretty much the same players that you seen last year. The one exception to that is the Juan kid, which they're playing more at running, but he's kind of like their Gary Haynes, but at a running back position, which gives him a little bit more speed right there.
Good player. He's he's got some playmaking ability, very dynamic in his feet, and he can run. Their skill guys are very good. We've got J.D. McKissick, who you can see why he's one of the top receivers in this conference, if not in the country. This kid's dynamic on the kickoff returns. Man, he hits it downhill. We were showing the kickoff team a bunch of clips of that yesterday, the way he hits it, and or 2 days ago. So he's a guy that we're going to have to really keep our eye on, because he's an exceptional player along with a lot of other skill guys.
The extra time, with Worthy being out, those younger guys in the defensive backfield, when they've gotten extra reps and extra playing time, does that kind of help give you some options or some depth as far as helping kind of match up and deal with their skill players?
Well, the more skill players you have in the back end, obviously the better, because we got more depth, and we've gone through some games this year with not very much depth. When TJ was out, Troy was out, so we've had some guys out that are more of those guys are back now, which allows you to do more, and it allows you to be to have more depth, and to get through a game if you do have some injuries and things like that. So just glad to get TJ Worthy's leadership back too. He's a senior. I mean, this is a guy that gets you in all the right checks, that minimizes the amount of times that you may not get the right call or turn somebody loose. So I'm glad he's back.
A couple of years ago, you weren't a big fan of the non-Saturday games, but with the success of the last couple of years, have you sort of changed there, or?
I'm still a traditional person. I love Saturday football. I like Saturday afternoon football, to be exact, but we don't get much of that. But nevertheless, when you get to play on Tuesday night, you get the whole table. You get the whole national stage. You're going to be on in every bar, every restaurant, every home in the country for anybody that's going to watch football. That's the only game on. On Thursday night, it used to be that way. That used to be the night. But now you got NFL on Thursday night. You got 2 or 3 college football games on Thursday night. That's not the night no more. Too many people you're competing with. Well, Tuesday night, you get to really put your program out there for everybody to see, and hopefully be another good product on Thursday night or Tuesday night. Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. All right, thanks,
Saturday,
guys.
who needs to know the actual
Thanks.
date?
Okay, real quick,